No, God bless you all. I mean, I remember is your brother
Thank
Nicholas,
you.
isn't it? Yeah, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Nicholas, yeah. And I can remember when I saw the show, and it was I just couldn't wait to watch it. It was like, oh, Van Damme's got Jean-Claude's got a reality show coming on, and it's England based, and your dad still, even in the opening sequence, he's throwing that kick while he's holding a dog in the hand, and he's going like
Yeah.
that to the camera, and
His little chihuahua at the time, Marsha. Yeah,
yeah, I remember that.
she's a good girl. God bless her.
Yeah, I remember that. And then what had happened was I can remember seeing your mother, and I was like, well, that, and then your mother, and your sister. I have to say this, and I'm not blowing smoke. I'm going to be honest. Your mother looks like your older sister. I have to admit to that. She sincerely, she looks that fantastic. I have to, again, it's a compliment, and everything. You could tell she's an inspiration to women to take up everything. I think my sister would
Yes.
my sister is only like a year older than me. She would watch it and she go, well, she still keeps herself in good shape. And she was
That's
heavy
great.
gym. She was like going to the gym quite often as well. And yeah,
Oh,
God
good.
bless. Yeah, God bless you. And like like I said, she's always like your mother has always been the inspiration because she was, I believe, was she in Pumping Iron too? She was, wasn't she?
Yes, yes, I believe
Yes.
so. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
featured. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And
and
she was.
she wrote a couple books too, and regimes on how to train, how she was trained. In fact, she's been thinking about writing another book about training for women above a certain age. And I told her you should. Both my sister and I, and my wife alike, we really pushed to get her to tell her story to the world because her story is so fascinating. She really has an amazing background, and nobody ever really. It's always overseen because of my father's success, but if you go back in time, she was the star when my father came into her life. My father had to pursue her, and she was very standoffish because at the time she had a boyfriend and all this stuff who was her manager, and there was some mishaps there with some financial situations that my father was a part of discovering, and that led to my mother seeing kind of who my father really is and how much he cared about her and cares about her now
Yeah.
as well, obviously. But he pursued her vigilantly, and then she switched sides and she gave up her entire career. She was doing seminars. James Cameron interviewed her for Alien, the second one, I believe. She was supposed to play that bodybuilder character and the muscle, the female muscle in there. And she said no to that because she had to cut her hair, and she had, you guys know, she had a lion's mane of hair. And so she said no to that, and she also no, yeah, and she was also interviewed by Tony Scott and his team for Days of Thunder to play the escort that grabs Tom Cruise's
Oh,
junk,
yeah.
and she said,
Yeah.
I have to do what?" And they said, "You have to grab his junk, and then that's it, because it's not really a real officer." She goes, "No, no, I'm okay, thank you." And the money was good for
Yeah.
like that small little segment. The money was good, and she declined all that. So she was a rising star that in turn switched sides to be a mother at home and bear two children. But she stayed in shape, and that shock value for someone is a lot to handle. A lot of people don't understand. Maybe women would understand this more so than men. But to be a prime athlete and then to stop cold turkey to some degree and
Yeah.
raise kids, bear children, you got to be mentally sharp. And she really is mentally there, very strong human being,
I can tell.
stubborn like me, but strong. That's where I get it from.
I didn't say that, Mr. Portuguese. I did not say that. I mean, the proof's
No,
right
no,
here.
it's all me. I'm right here, guys. Come find me.
Don't tempt her.
Come at me, bro. Oh, she's downstairs. She'll be like, "You said what?"
Ooh. Right, yeah,
It's
yeah.
all right.
Right, right.
It makes good leaders. Stubborn people make
Yeah.
good leaders, especially when the vision is righteous, not when it's egotistically driven.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you get people who want. There's a difference between being a good leader and a great leader. The good leaders, it's all going to be my way, this way, no way. I don't care what you got to say. I run this, I run that. But when someone who's great, who listens to other people's ideas and
Mhm.
implements that, that is something, that's somebody who's not just going to take all the credit and absorb it themselves. That's someone who cares about what they want to do and cares about the feelings of others. And you don't get that anymore. So you're right.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
Your whole family, God bless you all again, is,
Thank you.
you're a gem. You truly are
Thank you.
gems. I have
Thank you,
to
Addi.
admit to that. And you still, again, for everybody to inspire people 40 years later, that's a dynasty in my eyes. That's a true dynasty.
Thank you very much, Addi. You're so kind, man. I appreciate that. I
Well, it
do.
takes one to know one.
Yeah,
It takes one to
it's
know
very
one.
very good.
Thank you.
It's true that I do the same thing with the people I work with, including my wife. She's the one that films pretty much 90+% of all my passion projects, apart some of them where I need an actual cinematographer. But for example, my Star Wars fan film when I did it's called Duel on Statera. It's in post production right now. We've been in post production for a year, but regardless, because we want to make it perfect, I'm very open minded to my team speaking to me. I don't want to be one of those directors who shuts everybody out, and then it's only my vision, because there's going to be a point in life, whether it's with a film project or whatever, where you hit a wall, and you're going to need the help of someone that's going to be there saying "I told you so" without saying "I told you so" if they're right in the mind.
Yeah.
And that has happened to me a couple of times before, and all that is fine.
Yeah.
But it's we learn from those moments, and so I've grown to become a better filmmaker than most people. It's my dog Cooper, by the way. my wife is there going, he's on the sofa. But he'll be with us for a little bit. He loves the camera. Say hi, everybody.
Hey, how you doing? You right?
And so I've learned as a filmmaker to really be a big brother, best friend, father figure, listener to a lot of the people on my team, including my wife, because there's something beautiful about the reflection process, I call it. It's when you have something, you tell a story, and all of a sudden people are enthralled. You know you've got them, which means your vibration, your purpose in life is clear, adequate, it's right there, it's present. They're recepting to it and understanding it because maybe they vibrate on the same level as you. And then they give back ideas. That's the reflection process. That's the growth process. That's the I give, but I give, but I also take. Now it's your turn to take. Tennis is not a one-player sport. Anything with two. So that's what's beautiful about anything in life, is that that skill in leadership is real leadership, I think. And yeah, I've had it with my family. I've applied it to my own projects and the people around me, and they feel respected, and they should feel respected, and they need to be respected because they're so talented, so gifted. And I'm blessed to have them in my life helping me with these projects. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today without any of them. And I constantly tell my team this because it's very important. It's important to reassure the people that, like yourself, praying for someone that you look up to and look out for, even from a physical distance. You have to give back, because that's everything in life. That's why we're here. I really believe in that duology on a multitude standpoint. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That truly is. And I'm eternally grateful for the people who pushed me to do this. They were like, you're not designed to sit in an office all the rest of your life, because you're wasting your time, you're wasting your talent. You got to do this. You got to do what makes you happy. And I have to be honest with you, between us and everyone else watching out there, is whenever I'm at work, I don't mind it while I'm there, but I just can't wait to come home and turn all this on and because it's like a key. When the key is turned, the door is open. What is behind there is realistic. It's the real you. And people have actually watched it at work saying that. I can tell the difference between you being here and being on camera. That's the real you, the camera. Because I can remember one time, not to sound egotistical, I had to go do a photo shoot in Birmingham, which is a city on the outskirts. Your father's been there a few times, I believe. And with Dolph Lundgren. And I can remember one time when I went there, I had to go take new headshots, meet my agent, and they were like, I don't need to give you any direction, Addi. You just did everything yourself. I said, not to sound big-headed, but I don't need direction. I have to give direction on the camera. That's just me.
That's it. When you know what your purpose is, it's easy.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what it is. You could be a gardener, you could be an actor, you could be a podcast host, you could be whatever it is. When you know what your purpose is, whether it's storytelling or listening or a psychiatrist, it doesn't matter. You know how to do it right, and that will be felt by others. Others, even the slowest of recepting people will understand you because it's so pure and so rich from your core that it's going to be felt across platforms and across physical separations, distances. It's who you are. It's your spirit. It's why you're here. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
that's very that's I think that self-awareness is key. My father spoke a lot about self-awareness back in the day and was made fun of a lot, ridiculed for it a lot. But now people are talking about it. Almost every other thing is about self-awareness. And it's not to say he was the only one that's right. He was just self-aware and in tune with himself,
Yeah,
and he
he
was
was.
saying it in a way that, the media will jumble things all the
Yeah.
time. But you have to be okay with all that, and you have to be consistent with your vision. Don't let the outside noise and static rule out your purpose. That's very, very important
No, I
for
agree
those
with that.
listening.
No, no,
Shout
no.
out to those listening.
Thank you. So, what was it like working on movies? I know you've done quite a lot of movies with your father where you've played the younger version of him, where you've played a separate character. But what was it like working on movies like Universal Soldier, Assassination Games? One movie I do remember you in, you were only in it for a bit, but it was completely memorable, was The Philly Kid, or Brawler. In England it's called Brawler, but in America it's called The Philly Kid, with Wes Chapman.
Yeah,
You played like one of the high school kids who just got out of you just won a tournament and you're going off to college and everything. But I don't want to tell what happens in there for those who haven't seen it. But what was it like
sure.
working on all these movies?
The cool thing about that movie, Philly. Well, first of all, working with films of my father, it all started on Lionheart. I was on the set of Lionheart, and I saw Sheldon Lettich's oldest daughter, Micheline Lettich, on camera. She was playing a homeless girl. She had amazing. She still is amazing, but as a kid, she was so striking on camera. And I saw what that looked like and felt like, and I said, I think I want to do this because my dad does this. Why am I not where she's? I want to be where she is. It's just an instinct thing. It was
Oh
pulling me
yeah,
toward like a magnetism, right? And so I would walk on sets, all my father's sets. I would always ask, "Can I be on your set? Can I come visit you, Dad?" And he would say, "Yes, of course. Come on, come on, come on." And so I would go, and I would walk around the back of the sets where they weren't shooting at the time, pretending I was in this world as a character or whatever, my own little script, right? And so I just started to play different characters in my head, and that became a thing to the point where when Universal Soldier came up, my father put me in there, and it was a lot of fun working with Roland Emmerich. I didn't even know who he was, but now that I realize it, it's like that was very special. So it grew. And coming to points of doing films without my father, like The Philly Kid, which was a very small role. Originally, we shot a little more, but it was condensed as pages were pulled, and the edit usually starts bigger and then condenses smaller. But one of the best memories of that, not only that Devin Sawa had the same agent as me, which was cool. Devin's a very nice guy,
oh
and
he is.
Wes,
Yeah,
he's a very nice guy, and he's
yeah.
been through a lot. Yeah, he's
Oh,
been through
God
a lot.
bless him. God. Well, I like to
God
not
bless.
to cut you short, but I like to make a
Sure,
quick prayer from that. Whatever he's
sure.
been through in life, he goes through. He's again been given the strength to get through it. He's if he's he has people that he's given forgiveness, and whatever again he gets, he doesn't go through that again. And like amen to that. I'd like to do that for him. If somebody's
Amen.
been through a bad patch, it's not their fault. It's part of human life.
Sure,
We go through good times, bad times, the
sure.
worst times, the best times. But at the end of the day, we're all human. Life is not a perfect line. There's going to be
Yeah,
bumps in the way as well.
it wouldn't be life if it was, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
it's very true. It's very true, and we all have our stories, and that's why on a movie set, like a lot of movie sets, there's a lot of ego, and it's based on the ego is a defense mechanism. It's not because I'm egotistical. It's not that exists, but it's
Yeah.
usually a defense mechanism of lack of attention or something from when you were a child. And so I never really had that problem. As much as many others. On Philly Kid, I sat down. I remember sitting down at my trailer. I was a bit bummed out that they had cut some scenes, and we were shooting, less because I wanted to. I finally had a movie without my father, so I was so happy to be working, and I
Yeah.
worked very hard to get this role. And so flew me out, did the movie, and Wes Chapman was a very very nice guy in his world,
Yeah.
but I'm an improv actor, and so I did about 10 or I would say between 10 and 12 years of theater, And so I know how to build a character, and I know how to dive into that character. And the problem with method acting, a lot of people don't understand. Daniel Day-Lewis talks about this. Method actors alike talk about this. My father also is somewhat method to some degrees, become with years and training and experience. But you devote a specific amount of time to build this character, and then you devote within that specific amount of time more time to convince yourself that this is your life right now. And then you have to toggle between reality and reality, because they're both different realities when you're shooting.
Yeah.
And then you need to wean off that character. And weaning off a character is very difficult, especially if you really delved into that character, and it's from the beginning. And so on set, I was very much this kid. I had written a big backstory from him and all this. And Jason Connery, the director, comes up to me just like that and asks me, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing good, sir. It's very nice to meet you. It's a pleasure." I stood up, shook his hand, said, "Sit." I was drinking a beer. It was a Saturday, so I put the beer under my stairs of the trailer, and he looks at it and he goes, "I'm gonna have one later, so cheers." And I said, "Oh, cool." And then yeah, it's all right. He goes, "No, it's fine." And we sat down, and I asked him. I said, "How many times have people asked you today if your father's martini is still dry?" And he he did a similar reaction. He started laughing. And he goes, "I lost count, man." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, he looks at me and he says, "I understand what it's like."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah." And that was it. That was our little dialogue. It was very short lived, but he said, "You'll do a great job out there. I believe in you. That's why I casted you." So I was so touched that Jason Connery, the son of an icon like Sean Connery, told me I'm going to do well and chose me for this part, even if it's that big. And so I really, he loved it so much. And when I did the role with Wes, because I method, there was some scenes that he kept where I kind of like just hit his face a little bit, and he didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And he went back and went, "Oh, and I was like, all right. And it was this. And at the end, he was like, "I'm sorry." I was like, "No, it's okay. It's part of the. How many years have we known each other for? I've known you for 12 years. I don't know who this guy is. I've never worked on a movie with him in my life before, but the characters do, and you feel it, even if it's in that little part of the movie. You feel it. That movie has so much heart, and is so has such a bad rap in terms of the success rate. It should have had more, and I really wish that Wes's career jumped up even higher because of it, because he worked very hard in that movie, as did Devon Sawa and everybody else. I believe also Neil McDonough was in it, right?
Yeah, he was, and Michael Jai White.
Michael J. White, and just the way that Neil was shot with the silhouette from behind, and the lighting was just gorgeous. I mean, Jason Connery is a fantastic director. He's very, very underrated, and I think he should do more. I think we should really respect the torch being passed in such a different light. Kind of like with me and my father, people expect me to do all the stuff he does, and although I can, and I've been trained to do so by the man himself, that's not who I am. You can never. One thing my father said, and it's something that resonates with me and many others when I say it, and I'll tell you now, is you can never repeat the truth twice.
Yeah.
You can only make establish the truth once every time, over and over, differently. And so with a take as a method actor, or with a take as a different stylized actor, it's always a different version of the truth, and therefore I cannot be the next reflection of my father. Although many people would love to see me kick, and I can do it, and I've done it. It's a very political industry at it. In this last movie, this last film I just did, another movie that doesn't have my father's presence in it, Mexicali, starring Brent Foster, I had a much larger role. I spoke about this on a couple other podcasts recently. I had a much larger role. I had another fight scene with Bren. They pulled everything. And we had shot about 60 to 70% of what I just said they pulled. So not only did I have more screen time, I had more dialogue, I had more theatrics, so to speak, that they took. This angle here, Bren here, okay, trampoline, I understand, rising star, I know the politics. I'm not, stupid or unaware, I should say, that way. But it's difficult because you're marketed as a fight between Van Damme and Foster, and then it looks like and people are disappointed, and the producers were disappointed. And I remember Brett and I there was one day we did a scene on set, and I did a different take every single time for him, because my job is to reflect his character. So I'm going to push him beyond the capabilities that he's giving me, so that way he can push me beyond those capabilities, and we can work that way. And as an improv method actor, that's my fuel, and I want to make him a better actor by giving him some options, and vice versa. So we did that, and it really felt so real. Everybody on set was quiet, and probably did it in 2 takes, 3 tops, and that's with digital cameras, where we can do 20 takes if we want to, you know. So we went at it, but they didn't use it, and I got my dailies, so I can share it, and I'm going to share it on YouTube and on Instagram, so people can see the behind the scenes of my character, Ruthie, because there was a story. Luc Lafontaine wrote a story about him, and I went into character. My poor wife woke up every morning with Ruthie on the table with my Desert Eagle airsoft gun, and I'm sitting there full of makeup, tattoos, shirtless, and she's making me breakfast, and I'm quiet, and we get in the car and we drive there a little too fast, but the character likes that. And so we get there, and, you know, my poor wife, she has to deal with that guy on and off, on and off. Also, I was very sick on set. I had caught a fever, 100 degrees, 3 days, 3 to 5 days. The last 2 were kind of fluctuating, but they had this air conditioning machine with the fake blood, and they got me very sick. Something was going around, but I still did my fight scenes. I still ran. I was destroyed. This movie really messed me up. But and then I was excited because the performances were great. But when I went to see the screening, I was like, what happened to my character? So I know I found out later, and it's like with the Philly Kid, you know. They'll tell you it's timing of the edit, and the distributors don't want a movie above 2 hours or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
A lot of that's crackerjack. Trust me. It's all about politics, and it shouldn't be, because this is art we're making. That's why I think guys like Sir Daniel Day-Lewis, they do a movie once every 5 years, because they don't want to deal with the value system, you know. I mean, that guy is, for Christ's sake, and I say that with the most respect for those who have that faith, going through movies like that is just, the guy works a regular job when he's not in movies. The guy is as human as possible. And this is beautiful. And it's like, I did the same thing in my life to ground myself, because when you get lost in this stardom and fast speed lifestyle, like my father was at some point in his life, it takes over you that much or this much. It can take over you a lot. You can go down a roller coaster, which, okay, is part of your life path, maybe. But I've made a lot of decisions where I don't allow that type of system to occur to me, or, you know, to come through my way. So this is a very important message for those out there that don't really know, like, how do you deal with the fame and the stardom? You go back to why you're doing this. You go back to your purpose as to why you are in this business, and then it will speak to you, and you'll live in this weird dichotomy of, it feels good to be loved, but at the same time, it's not what it's about. You're doing this because you love it. Everything else is just gravy, as we say, right? So,
yeah, just gravy. That's true. Yeah, speaking of that, I've known Bren Foster, but not personally, but I know who Bren Foster is. I've been following his work for quite some time. He's a phenomenal martial arts taekwondo expert. Yes. But you've worked with various fellow other martial arts. So what was it like working with, other than your father? Because God bless him, and I say that a lot, but. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Say it away. I know you mean it every time you say it, and I say it in return. God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what was it like working with other fellow martial artists, such as Dolph Lundgren? You've worked with him on Universal Soldier on 1, 3, and 4. You've also worked with Bren Foster. You worked with Scott Adkins on Assassination Games, and you worked with Matthias Hughes. Now, Kris, if I may ask, when you met Dolph Lundgren for the first time, were you a bit angry and scared of him? Because why is this guy beating my dad up in the first Universal Soldier when he's throwing your dad everywhere? Because I can remember the interview with Dolph. If he's listening, a big shout out to him. And
hey, Dolph.
I was terrified of him growing up as a kid, like, especially when you
great actor.
Oh yeah, definitely is. And such a nice nice guy. But when I
Yes.
saw him for the first time in Rocky Four, and unfortunately when he kills Apollo Creed, I was scared to go outside my house. To like, is he around there or something? Because I was only about this big. I was only about this big, and I was like, I kept saying to my dad, "Dad, is that big guy?" And he goes, "Oh, son, just relax. He's okay." I mean, God rest my dad. So, and my dad
God
loved
bless.
your dad. My dad absolutely loved your dad as well. He was like, "I like this guy, especially in kickboxing. He's got such a great shape on him and everything." And I think your dad, in a way,
Thank you.
my father. When he saw your dad, he was kind of pushing me to learn karate as well. You got to
That's
do this
great.
because of this. Yeah. So your father inspired my father to take and inspired me. So it was great. So I thank you
That's
all.
beautiful. That's a beautiful synergy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because that was one of the things my dad and me would bond over was martial arts movies. He loved Bruce Lee.
Cool.
He loved Jackie
Yeah,
Chan.
amazing. Of
He
course,
loved
Jackie's amazing.
yeah
Yeah.
he loved your dad. He liked Dolph as well. But were you scared of Dolph when you saw him for the first time? Because he's a gigantic dude, isn't he?
He's a big guy. No, not so much. They were always laughing together on set. They were always hanging out in the trailer together. They were very good friends, and they still are. And it's beautiful to see. Um, what was really cool was seeing them reunite in Universal Soldier 3. I quote 3
Yeah,
because the return is to me a hunk of junk. So we replace it with regeneration.
I like that.
And
I like your honesty.
and we brought on John Hyams, the son of Peter Hyams, who directed Time Cop. And John Hyams was the original director of the documentary of the Smashing Machine that A24 got the rights for. My father was trying to get the rights, or wasn't trying, he was thinking of getting the rights back in like 2000 and the early 2000s, like '06, 7, right after the documentary had come out, to make a movie about it.
Oh yeah,
And to hire somebody. And then The Rock did it. I didn't see it. I hope it's good. I have to check it out. Anyway, shout out to A24. And I'm telling them, please make Bloodsport the right way, not this political kumite thing. Please, 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 guys. That's
yeah,
really. Anyway, that's a separate subject for another time. They won't listen anyway. They'll be like, yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
yeah,
So that's something my dad and I are discussing now. We're like, why aren't they calling? I mean, I made that movie happen. I made that happen. So anyway, that's okay. So Dolph Lundgren, Brent Foster, great. Let's go in order. Brent Foster, great martial artist, great athlete, um, very nice guy,
yeah.
and very serious, and works very hard. And I respect him. Especially, I respect him as a martial artist more than anything.
Oh yeah,
And I know this because I'm a martial artist myself, and he's a different level. He's a full on competition level for decades straight, and it's very respectful and it's beautiful to watch. So shout out to Brent Foster. He did a great job in Mexicali, and hope to see him rise as he progresses forward in his career. Now, Dolph Lundgren, Dolph Lundgren, he's an icon within his own style. He's awesome. He's a very intelligent guy. I remember um, on Regeneration, Universal Soldier 2, not The Return, Regeneration, I got called on set pretty early. I called on set like at 6 in the morning, so I was up at 4:30, went to set. I'm on set, and the whole set's decorated. The dry ice is running, and it's as if the lab is operating. All the electronics are there. I'm in wardrobe already. It's freezing. It's like negative 12 or 10 outside. It was very cold in Bulgaria at this time. There's snow everywhere. Shooting in the snow. Kudos to John Hyams and the entire behind camera crew. Very effing hard to do. So I arrive in this warehouse that's decked out like the laboratory, the makeshift lab. And I go to my character's station, or what I believe would be a station, because again, I'm in character and I'm doing my thing and I'm writing down notes and I'm taking notes. I'm just walking around the set doing my thing. I'm there for like 5-10 minutes. And then I hear, has US-44 arrived yet? And I hear this deep grumbling voice. And I turn around and I don't see anybody. And then in that moment from where I am, the cryo chamber that was once closed when I walked in
yeah,
opens and more dry ice comes out.
yeah.
And Dolph's back comes up and it's like this wide. And he turns and he's facing, I'm behind him. And he goes, I repeat, has US-44 arrived? I think he was referring to my father's character in the first one. I may have gotten the numbers incorrect. However, he looks and he goes, how you doing, kid? And I was like, holy shit, Dolph Lundgren was sitting in the cryo chamber this entire time. He was called early, up to set early. So I got immediate respect because, first of all, I'm an adult now. And second of all, he's in character. And it's so cool because this is one of his most iconic roles.
Sure.
And we had a great conversation for like good 10, 15 minutes about everything, motorcycles, engineering, because he's an engineer. What type of physicist is he? He's a chemical engineer. He's such,
Albright scholar, isn't he, Dolph?
I believe so. Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. And he spoke about his kids, Ida, who's good friends of my sister, did a photo shoot together. Very cool stuff. I'm happy they connected because it's a very healthy relationship in the world of martial arts and athleticism.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
then the other actor, the scientist comes out, I forget his name, is a very nice guy. And we all worked together. It was a great day. But to see my father and him reunite was cool too during their fight. That was such that I just wish that movie. I told Moshe Diamant, the producer, before they even started that movie in 2010 or 11, whatever it was. I told Moshe, I said, Moshe, you need to make the armor a little bit more real because the armor is cool, but it needs more. We need to have the eye things. We need another type of trailer of some kind, like a newer version.
Yeah.
And then don't have the Unisols drop their guns and then stand off in a fight. Like that's stupid. Like to me, that's gimmicky. You need to make them lose their guns in order to go into the grappling stuff. But the directing was so good. And the acting was so good. The lighting was so phenomenal that all that stuff kind of was acceptable. Like there were also great shots that they pulled out of the movie that I was so bummed out about that were in the trailer but not the final film. I don't know why. There was this one they used like an 80 millimeter lens, and it was Andrei Orlovsky's double and another double, my father's double, and they were both falling from a factory step that was like 200 feet high on this cable drop.
Oh, yeah.
And it was such a faraway shot that the trash pile in the foreground looked like they dropped into that. And they didn't use that in the, they only went from like falling to impact. Like, guys, why? That long traveling shot, two actual stunt guys on full harnesses go traveling at like 40, 50 miles per hour down. Just beautiful shot. They didn't use it. Anyway, my Dolph experiences are great. He's always a pleasure to work with, and he's always, I just wish people gave him more chance to act in stuff like Blackwater. He did a great job in Blackwater. It was cool to see my dad reunite with him, and he saw me again there and was like, "You shaved your head," and I was like, "Yeah." But it was. I love, and God bless him for surviving his cancer situation. God bless him.
I read about that. I was a bit. I couldn't believe it. Like, cancer of all things could take out Ivan Drago of all people, because you look at Dolph, just like your father, God bless them both, is that they're inspirations, they're martial artists, they're very intelligent people, they have great screen presence, and one thing I've always loved about your dad and Dolph as well is that their intelligence. They are some of the most intelligent people I have ever seen. Your dad, God bless him, he's got proper visionary. He's, like I said before, he's a vision. Same with Dolph. Dolph's a vision as well. And when you see these two together on screen, it's a treat and a half, I have to admit. The first time I ever saw two tough guys going at each other was them two. I'm going to be honest with you.